Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another video over on PALWORLD, and in this video I am going to show you how to mass produce eggs over on PALWORLD. It's actually a really easy trick and it's not super difficult, so if you haven't figured out the best way to do it, let me go ahead and show you. So basically you can see I've got a total of 4 egg incubators over here, and it depends on what you're going for, but you can both have a heater and a cooler nearby, and then go ahead and pop your obvious eggs at a regular interval. Now, in order to mass produce them, it depends on the settings on your server, but per increase in level, you probably want about 3 individual egg incubation periods, but we'll get into that in just a second. You can see that I'm going and getting a late game thing right now. The shadow beaks are really awesome. They're really fast, and it's something that I like to mass produce in high quantities. I'll go ahead and show you how many I've produced. I've literally just started in, like, I don't know, maybe 24 hours ago, and you can see that I've got almost 3 rows of them. We can actually turn them into some really powerful creatures. And then we've got a whole bunch of extra eggs over here ready to pop. So how do we do this, right? Now, in order to get this done, essentially, let's go over the basics. So first off, you need to have a breeding farm. Now, a breeding farm is something that's pretty easy to access early on. And it's something that it's really simple. Obviously, you can see level 19. And then once you have level 19, you need to unlock the breeding farm. And then you need to make cake. Now, in order to make cake, you need to have some form of cooking device, whether that's an electric kitchen late game or it's an early game just cooking pot. You can make cake with flour, red berries, milk, egg, and honey. Now, the easy way to get all of these, instead of having to run around the map and getting a few of them, is just to have a farm, by the way. You can have a farm that creates basically cake on an automatic cycle for you, and you can get flour just by using on my right hand side. Obviously you can see that I've got my flour farm going on over here, and then you have a mill, you can make your flour, but the rest of it's automatic. So red berries can be produced by the thing with the berries on its back. I can't remember its name right now, but you see it over there. Milk can be produced by Mozzarina, egg can be produced by Chickpea, and then honey can be produced by Beeguard. I think it's Capricorn is the one with this. Yeah, Capricorn. These guys will automatically create the ingredients in order to make, as you can see right here, and they'll automatically gather it for you. They will create the ingredients to make cake, so you can just have a never-ending supply of cake in your base, and then you can queue up a whole bunch of it once you're ready to go. Notice how the only thing I'm waiting on is flour, so I can literally just get everything ready by going over to my flour mill and saying, hey, I know that we've got some wheat ready to go, so I'll go ahead and pop that in there. Now, this is the big stack of it. You can see here's my wheat. There's 83. There's 156. I'm going to go ahead and say let's make a maximum amount of that. So there's 156 on the way. Now, once you have your cake going, you're going to want a fire person or a fire pal. You can see mine's over there. He eventually gets around to coming over here and heating it up, but it's just when he decides it. All right, so that's how you create the farm to automatically make cake. Now that we've got the breeding farm in place, all you have to do is toss all of your cake inside of the breeding farm. Basically what that means is this has a never-ending cooldown supply, which means that if you throw cake inside of this little box on the side of the breeding farm, it will last forever. It spoils in 20 minutes if you don't, so definitely put all of your cake immediately inside of a breeding farm, which reduces it's infinity for the actual abilities. So, now that we understand we can make the cake, we put the cake in here. You have to have a male and a female pal in here. If you only have one, see if I look at this, it's 1 female, 0 males, and a male and a female of any species will end up creating an offspring. Now there are calculators online where you can find out specifically which pals you want to make, but basically they will continue to breed, and that circle that you can see on my left hand side above my character's head right now will continue to fill up at a constant rate. Now that circle, every time it's full, and every cake that exists in that box over there will produce an egg for you. So it will never stop. Now the cool thing about that is even when you're offline, so if you're playing on a server, you can come back and have like 40 eggs waiting for you, and that's per breeding farm. So some people will get 3, 4, 5 breeding farms up and going late game, and they'll just be cranking out an absolutely insane number of pals, because all you have to do is, as long as you have the eggs available, you just toss them in that incubator, just toss it in the incubator, and then you keep going down this list, and you're going to be able to actually just have a never-ending supply of them. And the more incubators you have, obviously the faster off they're going to go. And then you want to keep an eye on the actual incubation speed. When it seems a little hot, there's probably a PAL, like this guy, that's actually increasing the heat. Come on. Come on. Why can't I get to him? Is it the German tide that's causing the problems? Oh, well, we'll go ahead and put him away. But you want to make sure you're keeping an eye on the actual incubation, because the incubation is an incredibly valuable thing, because you're literally doubling and wasting your time if you aren't actually using that. So we're going to go ahead and let this guy, of course, he immediately goes over and is like, let me use the heater. Man, I don't want you to use the heater. We're going to go ahead and put you automatically over here instead. So once you have that figured out and be assigned, we're going to go ahead and say, yep, here we go. He's assigned to electric kitchen. Now that these things aren't going off, they have 100% bonus speed, which is useful, obviously. And then you want to maximize that. So if you have a fire egg, you want to turn on your heater. And if you have a cold one, you're going to turn on the icer. And I guess it's technically called the cooler or whatever you want to call it. And then if you have neither of those, just leave it on just like nothing. And it's going to automatically increase that incubation speed naturally. So using all of those tips, you can make an automatic breeding farm. And obviously multiplying those things is going to give you more and more. So having a bigger production farm will give you more cake. Having a bigger overall number of incubators will allow you to hatch more eggs. Having more than one breeding farm is going to let you do more overall with that as well. So all of those tips should be able to be used in order to get a ridiculous number of eggs, and then do what you want to do in the long run in order to get your pals to the ability. Now they'll show you why we're doing this, right? Because it's cool that you have all these things, but the reason that we're doing this is so we can actually make our pals better overall using the PAL condenser. Because by increasing the number of stars, if you select a base PAL, like this guy right here, you can make it a 1 star, and it's going to increase all of its abilities to the next overall level. And increasing it to 4 stars makes a massive difference inside of the game. So we can literally take 1, 2, 3, and 4, and all of a sudden this guy becomes a 1-star shadow beak, and then you're going to have 8 for the next level. And it basically makes these things ridiculously powerful. So definitely think about leveling up at using your stars combinations. So all of that being said, hopefully this video helps you out. And other than that, teach.